I was not difficult on set. It's not true. It's bullshit. I was not difficult. I was not. Oh, hi, Random Man.
Oh, hey, Tommy, what's up? Tommy Wiseau? What the hell are you doing in here in my room?
I heard you're doing movie review on movie about making of my movie, The Room.
Yeah, I'm about to shoot it right now. Is that a full water bottle that you just threw on the floor and it was open? I thought you threw an empty one in that movie. Oh my God, there's water coming everywhere.
Go on.
Go on? What do you mean go on? There's water in my room now. Help me clean this stuff up.
What a story, man. Okay, I'm gonna go take Denny home now. Hi, baby.
Hey, your ass better be back here with a mop or something to help me clean up your mess. He's not coming back in here, is he? Oh, snap. We're rolling. What is up, everybody? Random Man here, bringing you my review for The Disaster Artist. By the way, I will be announcing the winner of the giveaway contest I held in my previous video at the end, so you may skip to the indicated time frame to find out who won. Based on the book of the same name, written by Greg Sestero and Tom Bissell, the plot basically follows Sestero, played by Dave Franco, and Tommy Wiseau, played by James Franco, as they both meet in San Francisco in the late 1990s, where they aspire to make it big within the film industry. So these two conjure up the idea to make their own film, what would be 2003's The Room, and they intend it to be a masterpiece. However, things don't go as planned, as a troubled production and a reception that would soon label it as one of the worst movies ever made, with a cult following. Going into this movie, I was curious to see it because it is about the making of The Room. No, not Room, this masterpiece right here. A different masterpiece of sorts, as The Room is widely regarded as one of the worst movies ever made, where it is considered one of the best worst movies ever made. So bad, it's good, that kind of moniker. Now, before I even saw The Disaster Artist, I had not seen The Room until last night. My first exposure to The Room was seeing the Nostalgia Critics review on it and Chris Stuckman's Hilariosity review on it. So I knew how this movie went with its bits and pieces, but again, I did not see The Room in full until last night before I saw The Disaster Artist today. And with The Room, I can see the definite appeal with this movie. Most of it, to me, comes from the super outlandish performance of Tommy Wiseau in the film, where, every time he's on screen, he is just something else entirely. He's not even in the movie that much. The movie's like 100 minutes, and he's only in it for about 20 to 30 minutes. But then I remembered, yeah, not only is he the star of the movie, but he's also the writer, the director, and the producer of it. So the rest of the movie throughout is terrible, but you cannot help but to be transfixed in watching it. Along with its concept, this movie also had me interested in it because it is starring and directed by James Franco in the lead role as Tommy Wiseau. And in getting into his performance, he is exceptional as this really mysterious guy. In real life, Tommy Wiseau is strange. Like, we know little to nothing about him. He won't even give out information about himself, but in Franco embodying this guy who created a movie that has amassed a huge following with it, I even forgot that Franco was even playing him, because he did get his voice down, his appearance, the long black vampire-esque hair, all of it. His mannerisms, he is truly phenomenal. Dave Franco, James Franco's real-life brother, of course, plays Greg Sestero, the friend of Tommy Wiseau and would-be co-star of The Room. And he is superb in this movie as well. To us, he is the audience character because through him, we get a lot of the experiences of working with Tommy Wiseau and him being befriended to him through Greg's eyes. Right down to the first scene where we are introduced to these characters, and yeah, it's hilarious to say the least. I'll get more into the humor later on, but I really believed the chemistry that Dave and James had with each other in playing their respective characters. I don't think they look entirely like brothers either, so it made the chemistry seem even more realistic, but it seems like there was a big amount of charm being played up here, even though, again, Tommy is... I don't know what was going on in his head. But with that, the lead performances in this movie are truly excellent. The supporting players in this movie are also great as well. We have people like Seth Rogen in this film, who of course has worked with the Francos in the past. He played the script supervisor for The Room in this film, and again, he is great. We have a plethora of other people that do show up in this film as well. Lots of recognizable faces, whether they are playing characters in this movie or playing themselves in real life cameos here. There's just a lot to cover, but basically the performances, especially James Franco as Tommy Wiseau, are fantastic. The writing in this film is outstanding. Now, I've never read the book that this movie is based on, where Greg Sestero chronicles himself meeting Tommy Wiseau and making this infamous movie, but from the get-go, we do get the idea of how these guys, Greg and Tommy, became friends so fast, and their dreams together to become big in big Hollywood movie, as Tommy likes to say. So when we do see that from the beginning, it's quite heartwarming to see these two, who seem like they're totally mismatched for each other, come together and form this bond to really fulfill their dreams. We get to see the passion that Greg and Tommy have in trying to make it into the film industry, despite lots of rejections, a ton of no's. Even with all of that, once they start getting the idea to make The Room and actually start getting this production together, the movie does get increasingly more engaging and the humor comes about, and my God, this movie is hysterical. It was hysterical before we even got to the actual making of The Room segments, but oh man, definitely when we get to see this now iconic movie getting made, there's a lot of moments in there that fans of The Room will definitely get huge laughs at. Much of this is attributed to James Franco's stellar direction in directing himself as Tommy Wiseau or other players and getting the story to come together. It really felt like something that was similar in the lines of Ed Wood, another movie about a strange filmmaker who ended up making films that were misguided. Stuff like that made this movie actually kind of inspiring. No, not kind of inspiring. It is inspiring because Wiseau was fearless. He gave zero fucks and really wanted to get the film that he wanted to make come together, even though by the end it ended up not coming the way he wanted it to be just put together, as he intended The Room to be the next Tennessee Williams type masterpiece. I've read The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. The Room, of course, is nothing like that. And with that inspirational message in this film being put into play, it also makes the movie have a ton of heart as well. That surprised me, along with the other surprise in this movie for me being that you don't have to have seen The Room prior to The Disaster Artist to get into this movie. Of course, it does help that if you have seen The Room prior to The Disaster Artist, you will get a lot more enjoyment out of it. But I'm putting it out there that you don't have to have seen that film to get into The Disaster Artist, because in the perspective of an outsider, this is still an endearing story to watch, even if you see how it comes together and Wiseau being a difficult person to work with on set. All of that, it just makes for a movie that's well paced all around. It's nicely timed at about an hour and 45 minutes, well shot, well edited. All of that general stuff with the technical merits is fine and good. Really, I was having a great time yucking it up with this movie. Issues I have with this movie are minor in retrospect, like towards the end of the movie, when we get to see the premiere of The Room happen and was so witnesses how his movie is being received and everyone laughing at how bad the movie is, his perspective in switching his point of view in intending the movie to have been a comedy all along was kind of out of left field and happened rather quickly, as again it happened towards the end. I'm not sure if this is really what happened in real life, and while it did make for a lot more emotion to be put into the film, it was something that I was like, okay, but it didn't bother me that much in the least. As someone who hasn't been on the Room hype train ever since it has garnered its cult following for years and years and years now, I still do get the appeal of the Room. I appreciate for what it has created and being talked about for this long after its initial release. And with The Disaster Artist now put on the big screen, I see a lot more of its appeal now in the making of this so bad it's good movie. I was actually the only person in my screening who saw this movie. I was in an empty auditorium at the closest theater that was playing this film, as it has gone into wide release this weekend. Part of me understands that because I don't think that many people know the appeal of The Room once again, and I do think that it shouldn't scare off people to not know what The Disaster Artist is about to see this film, because on a basic level, it is charismatic, hysterical, and even inspiring to see this narrative play out. This is one of the funniest movies I have seen all year. It is a movie that the Room fans obviously will get a lot out of, but even non-fans will get a little something out of it and like it as well. As for me, I loved The Disaster Artist. It is one of my favorite movies of 2017 thus far. I highly recommend it. By the way, stick around before and after the end credits, as before the end credits, you actually see side-by-side comparisons of the crew of The Disaster Artist recreating scenes from The Room, and they're pretty close to what the original film portrayed in their scenes. You can tell that the filmmakers of The Disaster Artist were really passionate about The Room, and then after the end credits, there's a post-credit scene with a nice cameo put into play. My final verdict for The Disaster Artist is 4.5 out of 5 stars. Alright, so you've either watched the entirety of this review or you just skipped to this part because you want to find out who is the winner of the digital HD copy code for War for the Planet of the Apes. I have the names of all of the entries here in this bowl, and I'm about to randomly choose a winner. Shaking up the names, shaking them up, randomly grabbing one, and I think we have a winner. And the winner of this giveaway contest is, I should do this, Laying Down the Law. Congratulations, dude. I will be getting in contact with you to give you the digital HD copy code, and thank you to everyone else who has entered this giveaway contest. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of The Disaster Artist. Social media links in the description. Subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.